Welcome, everybody. Right on time. Not really. Well, what's up?
That's like that. That's the ultimate follow-up to that now. Every time I think of that song, I'm just going to picture a man taking a massive dump on Game of Thrones. It's like...
Okay, so the question is, hi, everybody. We will be reviewing A Knight of the Seven Kingdom. There will be spoilers. Not much to spoiler. It was a quiet episode, kind of getting you into this world and in a very different.
This is a different experience
Yes.
from Game of Thrones or House of the Dragon, which is this twisted, fraught kind of political drama with a lot of action thrown in and a bunch of different fucking characters that all have their own goals and motivations that you're very in touch with. This is a very simple story of one dude, one lowly hedge knight who is trying to take like his first step into the world. Yep. So it's a very different story. If you like tune in expecting Game of Thrones, it's not it.
But what makes it work is that Dunk's character they've nailed it. Like his character is really endearing. He's simple, yet he has a good heart, and that won me over. All right, I'm on board. I need to see what happens with the same with the graphic novel. And so this is a credit that they are adapting the source material correctly. And yeah, they convey that this is the character that I fell in love with, and I want to see his story now. And it was short. Like you wanted more, and I guess that's a good thing for a first episode.
It's one of the things we talked about is with this adaptation. Hedge Knight is a novella. What is it, Gary? Probably 150 pages or something, maybe less, 110. Like it's about a 3-hour
read. Yeah.
And a lot of that takes place in Dunk's own head, not necessarily dialogue. So we were really wondering, just much with the graphic novel that you and Shad are so familiar with, where are they going to end this first episode? And I think they edited it about as reasonably as you could, but I really liked the first half of it. The middle 10 minutes or so, which was not from the book.
Yeah,
it was okay. And then I liked the way it ended, those last 5 minutes. Overall, if you like the Hedge Knight, you probably really loved some of the stuff that was just straight from the book and plopped onto the screen right in front of you.
Yeah. And you had to expect that, well, it wouldn't even be a 6-episode season if they just did the book. Like it would be a movie, pretty much, which I wouldn't be against. But yeah, I liked it. I'm not going to say, man, I am really engaged. But I know what's coming too. So I don't know how people who haven't read the book feel about it. And of course, there's going to be people with expectations. This is Game of Thrones this is A Song of Ice and Fire from the point of view of the small folk. And you are meeting one of the greatest knights in the history of Westeros in the early days, and his humble beginnings, and his little squire and his humble beginnings.
Well,
for what he is, it's humble beginnings. Okay, for what he is.
So Mahler has never read the Hedge Knight, right?
Yep.
Nope.
Because you don't read, you don't know how.
I haven't been taught.
Well,
you haven't been taught, so you don't read. So I wonder, what is your perspective on this first episode, just coming in blind?
Probably shouldn't surprise anybody, but with absolutely no context and then hearing pieces, I know some stuff that you've already alluded to, but it's like, if I didn't know anything about anything, right, it's just entirely isolated context, I'd be like, what a neat idea of just a dude trying to make his way, and in an honest and respectful way, but honest in the sense of it's got the ugly shit in there as well, just like the unpleasant stuff that you got to work through, and the awkward bumps and bruises sort of thing, and nice and calm and pleasant. And I think it does come, I just said isolation, but like after the 2 other shows in this universe, it's kind of nice just have a dude on his horse just making his way on a path. Like, we can calm down a second. But a really solid foundation for sure, this episode.
This is a lot of people's favorite story in the universe. Even though like the world of Ice and Fire is awesome and epic and convoluted and political and like all this stuff. And But this story is simpler within it and explores like the things that aren't as important, but are actually much more important. We're not talking about the control of a continent. We're not talking about wars being fought for this. We're talking about kind of simple everyday choices.
Yeah, being a
And
good
how,
person.
and how you get around in this world and how you try to do the right thing, which at the end of the day is kind of more important, those core values and those core things when it comes to storytelling, when it comes to our experiences, when it comes to characters we remember. It is more important than some of this other stuff that's going on.
Yeah, it's almost like
Chivalry.
exactly. My introduction to Game of Thrones actually was the Hedge Knight, the graphic novel. I haven't read the books, watched a decent amount of the shows, of course. And look, I really like House of the Dragon, and there's a lot to like about Game of Thrones. But this has always stood separately. I didn't even realize it was connected to Game of Thrones until ages later, because it's not typical for what George likes to write about. He likes the nihilistic kind of everyone sucks. They can do some good things, but usually heroes die, finish last. Where this story actually has a decent guy, and he goes through and does, decently heroic things. And we're not talking about saving continents or anything, but it's a personal tale that I've loved for ages. And so it doesn't surprise me that it's one of the more popular things, because it steps outside of what George likes to focus on usually, which is the nihilism.
I will say there's been a growing sentiment repeated that his works are borderline nihilistic. I'm wondering if that's an exaggeration, or if people don't know what nihilism means. Because like heroes getting killed doesn't mean meaningless. It just means the world is bleak and difficult, and you gotta be careful and stuff. Like I never took that from watching A Song of Ice and Fire, or rather Game of Thrones. Like when Ned's, his fate as well as his son, like I take it as, there's evil people in the world will take full advantage where they can, and you've got to be careful, like there's pitfalls and stuff. It's just unfortunate because a lot of you get beaten down quite a bit with the bad things happening to good people, combined with then the shitty writing presenting a horrible ending. So you look back and you're just like, what the fuck was the point? You're like, well, what I'm trying to say is like, there's a lot to be inspired by, I still think, with a lot of the characters in George's work, especially being, by the way, Ned Stark. He died, and it was horrible and tragic and everything, but I still consider him pretty inspiring as a character.
He inspires the entire North. He, despite the fact that it's in pieces right now, what's going to bring it back together is the thought of Ned Stark and his family, and how well he ruled over that region, and how loved he was and respected by most, not everybody. There's heroes in A Song of Ice and Fire. They're just not super traditional, but Sir Davos, he's in service of a really, I like Stannis, but Stannis ain't a good dude. But
so, Barristan,
the Onion Knight is cool, is a good dude, is a good guy. So
Barristan,
Sir Barristan the Bold,
Sir Barristan the Bold.
Absolutely. There are sprinkled within there. Brienne is a hero. I ironically
Viserys from House of Dragon, I reckon he's a hero.
Well, I would actually disagree. I would actually disagree. Even in the show, I don't think Viserys really is.
Really?
But
he's nicer in the show than he is in the book.
He's portrayed way better in the show than the book. In the book, I mean, look, ultimately, Viserys' mismanagement of this entire thing and his failure to recognize that this decision's not going to go over, like Rhaenyra being his heir is not going to go over with everybody else. Like his failure to address those things and his lack of willing to confront it is what leads to a massive fucking civil war. So I really don't think Viserys is a hero. I think he's kind of a coward.
I still love
and Daemon would have been a better fucking king.
I mean, on the nuts and bolts of the kingdom, but I think his moral intentions and is willing to sacrifice for his family and stuff, that's what really won me over with Viserys. It'll be interesting to see. Will we ever see how George wants to wrap up the Game of Thrones? Because that's the question. Will he give a kind of more heroic ending to with Jon Snow, or will it be the subversive kind of heroes, dying kind of thing?
I think Jon Snow going beyond the wall is his ending.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is his ending. And he's still alive. He let that slip.
He's still alive.
Yeah, he let that slip in that interview. But Dunk is unquestionably one of the best heroes and one of the nicest heroes in A Song of Ice and Fire.
Yeah, he's one of the more traditional archetypes of heroes that
inspired by Ivanhoe. Well, partially inspired the tourneys and stuff.
And we even hear about what a great knight and a great hero Dunk is from, of all places, Joffrey in Game of Thrones. Where he's basically making fun of Jaime's lack of accomplishments. And he's Duncan the Tall, 4 pages, blah, 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 blah. You're a piece of shit, uncle.
Dad. Uncle Dad.
Uncle Dad. But yeah, I guess I don't know how we want to talk about it, if we want to go through the episode or
go
what.
Through the episode. Yeah.
So
spoil.
Straight into spoilers.
I think a big spoiler is how they started,
yes.
Which is there has always been a theory, and it's basically hinted at throughout the books, that Dunk is lying about being knighted. Yep. That Sir Arlen didn't actually knight him. That's just what he's telling people. But that we never get that in the book. We never get it laid out. You just feel like he's a little bit uncomfortable at times when that comes up. They very much lay it out in this that no, that didn't happen. Like, he is faking.
Well,
Dunk
he doesn't
did not
admit
actually
it, but it's implied quite clearly. I think what really gives the impression is when he's lying, wondering what to do, and is like, I could sell you and get a lot of food, but I'll probably end up as a bandit. And those options really wouldn't be even considered if he was actually knighted. And then when he comes to the idea of, well, there is a tourney kind of thing, that's where it's like, okay, we can see what they
would you prefer it were more ambiguous?
I don't know. I'm not there.
I do, because I feel, because it feels like this character is now starting off with a lie. I feel like in the book, Sir Arlen is portrayed as a much like Dunk looks up to him as a more than he does so far that we've seen in the show. Now, I still think we're going to get flashbacks. We're going to get lessons. We're going to get things like that show the totality of their relationship. But when he's so kind of angsty, when he's like, this sword fits my hand as well as it ever fit his, I feel like there's a little bit of resentment towards Sir Arlen that they're showing in there. That he didn't get knighted. So I do kind of like it ambiguous a little bit more than them spelling it out in my mind so clearly.
So as someone who has no idea who Sir Arlen is, my impression was that he was kind of he gave him enough to keep him alive and sheltered, but he was kind of a piece of shit and did not do anything for him.
Yeah, yes. What the show is implying is that Dunk has a much better kind of opinion on memory of Sir Arlen than what he was actually like.
And what
from
the reality
flashbacks.
was.
It's like,
yes.
You never beat me unless I deserved it. Flashback, he's getting slapped around. And the one where he got hit and then his head knocks into the wall, I laughed. I was like, I was actually surprised that this series is willing to do a bit more humor than I've seen Game of Thrones kind of do. And I like that tone. I like that there's a little bit of a lightheartedness going on.
I think you're right. Early Game of Thrones had more fun in it, I think. Not that I've rewatched it ever since the dark times, but I remember there being more funny shit as it went on. And then House of the Dragon has not been very funny at all, which is not a surprise. It's a pretty fucking grim show.
It is very grim, and that's because it's missing that George R. R. Martin dialogue, right? Especially something with Tyrion. You know what would have added levity to House of the Dragon? Mushroom. They fucking kept Mushroom out, and Mushroom was hilarious.
The other problem with House of the Dragon is there's no dialogue to adapt.
No,
that's not a book that has. It's not a story. It's a fucking Wikipedia entry. Mm-hmm. That's what Fire and Blood is. There's very little dialogue in there.
And the dialogue we do get is for Mushroom. We get some quotes from Mushroom.
Yeah,
who, if I remember correctly, is in the show as a shot, right? He's in the back. He's playing an instrument or something.
Yeah.
Now I think the first half of this episode, the dialogue is almost all straight from the pages.
Mm-hmm.
From from the clouts on the ear to I'll give you a copper to the interaction with the maid to the interaction with the, I guess we can say, the mysterious random drunkard,
Drunken man.
random drunkard who
We'll say
says,
mysterious for now.
yeah, we'll say mysterious
Yeah.
drunkard who had a dream about Dunk. Stay the fuck away from me.
Yep.
All the interactions with Egg specifically are pretty much directly from the book, which is awesome. It's what we want.
Yeah. And I like Lionel Baratheon, the actor. He was in.
Oh yeah,
he
he's
was in
good.
The Gentleman. That guy's a great actor, dude. He's
He
so
did
fucking funny.
great, actually. And I haven't read the book, but that's new stuff that
Yes.
the show is doing, and I thought it fit in great. They from the graphic novel. Again, I don't know if the graphic novel changed the order, but I thought it was pretty close to it. They are changing the order of certain things to kind of restructure certain scenes, like when he runs into the Fossaways and stuff like that. That happens later on, and it works perfectly fine, actually, because by having the Fossaway interaction earlier, that justified him going into the Baratheon tent and then that whole sequence and stuff like that. And I can see that they're obviously laying down something there, because my prediction with them doing that is he's probably going to be using a connection now with the Baratheon to get the I guess vouching to be able to enter the tournament.
That is interesting guess, but I don't know what they're going to do. I would think that that's not right, but maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, that interaction is new. Lionel Baratheon is an important part of the story.
Yes.
The laughing storm, Lionel
The Laughing
Baratheon.
Storm, yes.
He is a very important part of the story, but that is a new thing we get. And I like most of it. I think Lionel Baratheon should be a little bigger. Everyone looks small compared to Dunk.
Yeah.
He's he's a little wiry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A little bit bigger because he's a Baratheon, right? We're thinking of Robert, like back in Robert's days, fucking rippling with muscles, big fucking Warhammer, all that stuff. So maybe a little bit bigger, but overall, interesting way he played him. And I think that scene specifically is to get across Dunk's inner thoughts, which are about him doubting whether he should be doing this or not.
Yeah.
Because that's all internal dialogue for Dunk in the books, and you need a way to get that out. And I thought it worked
By
pretty
the
well.
way, I don't know if any of you remember this, because I think he's kind of awesome already in this show, but he's really awesome in The Gentleman. Funny as fuck. He was in the Marvels.
Daniel Ings was in the Marvels?
He was Darth Ben's subordinate with a man bun.
Oh, I completely erased that from my memory.
Yeah.
It's the kind of thing they'd be like, wait, what? He's like, because I was checking his IMDb and I was like, I don't remember. So, yeah, it's so funny how the MCU will just blast through so many good actors you'll never even know.
Yeah. Daniel Ings. That's his name.
Well, what I liked about him, the Baratheon, he made Baratheon really come off feeling menacing, that you didn't know if he was gonna execute Dunk or laugh along with it and stuff. And I did love the line where it's like, "Why are you here?" And it's just like, "Supper."
Yeah.
Yep. No, it worked. It was it was a quiet little story. It's filmed in Northern Ireland, so the countryside looks great. The music's different. So what we were talking about earlier is they start with the Game of Thrones theme, and then they abruptly end it with Dunk taking a shit. A lot of ways you can take that.
Yeah. Well, I think one way is kind of pretty stark, because they even structured so it's building up to the music and then it cuts off to him taking an actual crap, showing the poo coming out of his side of his ass.
So was that CG crap?
Do I think it was actually him shitting? Is that what you're asking?
Yes. Authenticity. That's what Mahler was talking about while we were watching.
I doubt it. Well, there's three options: real shit, which I doubt;
he could
practical shit, which is possible because they like doing their practical stuff, or it's just CG, which
Well, practical. How would they get practical?
Imagine you would just like you put a little hose. He'd stick his ass out behind the tree. You put a little hose in there. You got some dude that's pumping it basically.
Who's got that job?
Would you rather want that job or the person who gets the job to animate CGI diarrhea? Like, take your pick, I suppose.
I don't know. Because it
was a
wouldn't
bit
smell, Garrett. It's all
projectile.
fake, right? They just make it
Well,
smell like perfume if it's fake.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it diarrhea, but because there were lots.
Do you know, you just reminded me of Mad Men has, I think it's in season one of the characters is vomiting and they have to do like a hookup of a machine behind his mouth so it sprays and stuff. The remastered version doesn't have any post like green screen effects that they like. Just, I guess they missed some of them, whatever. So people post it online that you can see the episode and it's just a dude with a pumping machine sitting next to him. It's just like, what the fuck?
That's hilarious.
To me, it didn't come off like they were taking a dump on Game of Thrones. Like that was the
Sure.
That's the first thing that came to my mind. Now, there is another option.
There's
another option that it is just a funny cut because you have this sequence. So it starts off just the way the novel starts off, which is a rainy gray storm with Dunk digging in the ground. You know, the rain was nice because it softened the ground, but it made him all wet. Like all these things that he's going through as he's burying the closest thing to a father figure that he's ever had in Sir Arlen of Pennytree. And he doesn't have a septum there. He doesn't know the words to say. So he just says a couple things, some nice, some not so nice, and buries him. Said, I bury your sword, but it'll just rust in the ground. And then he buries him and he, you know, whether it's the night after, the morning after, or whatever, he's just sitting there thinking and he's talking to the horses about what they're going to do. Sweetfoot, Chestnut, and Thunder. I love seeing those horses. I'm not gonna lie. I love seeing the horses.
Yeah, that was cool.
And then he's sitting there thinking what he's gonna do, and he grabs, you know, he looks at the sword and he thinks we could go to King's Landing. I could join the City Watch. He's got a funny line where he pulls it out. He's like, "You stop raping."
Yeah.
You know, I thought that was funny.
and then he spins around a little. He's like, you know, the sword fits my hand as well as ever fit his. And then there is a tourney at Ashford, and then you hear and he's got this like heroic look on his face, and it immediately cuts to him just taking a shit.
Like a nasty one too. Like,
yeah, what is he eating? Certainly not hard salt beef.
No, it was bad.
I guess the other metaphor to this is that, you know, it's trying to build up, showing that he's going to be a hero, but then cuts to this is the stark reality of this guy. He's just a normal dude.
We're far away from that part of being like an honorable golden knight sort of thing. That's obviously the less meta interpretation of just it's representative of the story. He's just a dude, and he's you got to take a shit like, when you need to. That's how it goes.
So then he runs into an inn, and we find that's where he saw the drunk guy who said, "Stay the fuck away from me." I'll just say that's important. It's a little important. Might not have seemed important, but it's important. And
the whole thing,
yeah. Then he runs into a little bald kid.
Well, I like the whole setup because he runs into Egg before he goes in, tells him, you know, pat down my palfrey. And look, medievalists, I love that they're using correct terminology. Palfrey is the term for a medieval riding horse that's actually not a war horse. So I'm trying to say it's a war horse is not actually the case. It's just a decently well-kept riding horse that's at one kind of step down. But love that they correct terminology. By the way, the longsword is perfect. It's like they could have lifted that from, you know, medieval replicas, right? That longsword he has, and they made it look weathered and old, and so that is awesome. And they also call it the correct thing. Like a guy actually says, is that, you know, you got a longsword on you, and so great little details there. But the setup with Egg, perfect. You know, because I don't want to give spoilers, but Egg's reaction to him asking is spot on. And what they have right is that both these characters are actually saying different things, but Dunk's assumptions are exactly in line with his character. And Dunk actually gives answers based on his assumptions that are contrary to what Egg is implying. But because that's perfect, like Dunk is not the brightest tool in the shed. And so he just... And that's
Dunk's the long, thick as a castle wall.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Out of curiosity... well, go ahead, sorry.
Well, I was just going to say one of the other things that I think is a change from the graphic novel is him choosing the name Duncan. And maybe I'm jumping the gun on me because he gets that towards the end there. But the fact that I from memory, that's a change that he didn't even figure out that maybe I should make my name sound a bit better, and it's kind of hint given to him by Egg, and then he's like, yeah, my name's Duncan
Yeah.
kind of thing. I thought that was a great change. It was like,
Well, that is exactly from the book.
oh, was it? Okay,
Yeah,
because I
yeah,
missed it.
yeah.
Okay, because that's so in line with his character that is a bit thick, but but he's got a heart of gold, and so sorry. Then we go into the inn, and then we come back, and he catches Egg on the horse playing around. And I loved that. It shows that Egg actually does have is still a boy, right? He has this kind of romantic idea of wanting to be a knight, which is of course what he connects with Sir Duncan there. And so that scene was great. And then you have the conversation where they're talking past each other, and he just like, like, what about your mother, when he has to go with him? And she's like, it's not my mother. He's like, oh, you're an orphan. Right? That's just
my mother's dead. Yeah.
So I was going to ask, there's 3 books that are being presumably, or rather, this is one book being adapted, right?
Yep.
With that quote you mentioned, Ryan, earlier, how many George possibly intended to make, does that mean then the story is like? I almost don't want an answer to this, but I also do. If you can help me out here, like, how much of his story has been told? Like 20% or?
Okay, so
20.
Probably close to 20. He says he's got like 10 to a dozen. Now he says he's got 10 to a dozen more Duncan Egg stories rattling around in his head at some point.
10?
He's currently working on 2 of them, which we do know those 2, and we've known about those 2 for a while. The thing with these stories is they are novellas. They're short stories. Now they're about Duncan Egg, but they hop around to different places, different parts of Westeros, and they're very self-contained. And honestly, he would not need to write anymore, and we could get 3 great seasons of this, and you just say goodbye.
Yeah.
Okay.
But because like it's these characters do have an ending.
They do.
Down the line,
Yes.
way down the line, but you don't like he doesn't need to write all those for us to get like 3 really cool, just little short mini series from HBO.
These are slice of life. Now they do play into the larger history of Westeros by giving you kind of the background on the Blackfire rebellions. One has already happened, right? So and there's more Blackfire rebellions, and that kind of plays into future stories, and that kind of crosses over, but it's still just it's Lone Wolf and Cub in Westeros. That's what it is.
Yeah, like from my understanding, I don't know what he'll do if he's writing more, but the current stories don't end off on cliffhangers. They are self-contained kind of tales that have satisfying endings that I'm perfectly fine with. Like those are the tales of Duncan Egg. But I'm surprised he's planning on writing 10 more. Like, okay, but I guess
he could plan it. Yeah, I got plans too. I plan to, get an 18-karat gold toilet someday, but I don't know if it's going to happen.
I suppose
Dunk could have used one.
Yeah.
If you remember the selling point with House of the Dragon, people were like, I'll wait till it's over before I give that one a shot, depending on, which is probably fair at this point. We'll see. But this one is going to be really awkward to be like, he's not finished the books.
So,
so he has not finished any book series in A Song of Ice and Fire. Not a single one. Oh, I guess you could say A World of Ice and Fire, but that was a one-off.
There's supposed to be another Fire and Blood. Now, for House of the Dragon, we do have all of that story is done. It's just a little slice of a book. So that is a story. But can we pull? I'm sharing the quote.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Just for perspective, because as much as I love this world, as much as The Song of Ice and Fire is so fucking cool, and I love this story and stuff, I hate George R.R. Martin, this fat, lazy sack of dog shit. I fucking hate him. And it's because he's such a fake victim. He's such a hypocrite. He's such a piece of shit. But this is a George R.R. Martin blog post from 2017 when he's asked about, is in the middle of Game of Thrones hype, all this stuff, right? And he's asked this question. We're not doing Duncan Egg. Are we doing other adaptations? We're not doing Duncan Egg. Eventually, sure. I'd love that. And so would many of you. But I've only written and published 3 novellas to date, and there are at least 7 or 8 or 10 more I want to write. We all know how slow I am and how fast a television show can move. I don't want to repeat what happened with Game of Thrones itself, where the show gets ahead of the books. When the day comes that I finish telling all my tales of Duncan Egg, then we'll do a TV show about them. But that day is still a long ways off.
Then they offered him a lot of money, and he's like,
He's going to be the first writer you measure his progress in millenniums.
Dude,
oh.
and as we heard in the article that came out this past just the last few days, he's writing Dunk and Egg books now. He stopped writing Winds of Winter, and he's writing Dunk and Egg books, and it's because of the show. It's because of HBO, because that is what he would rather do.
But
Period.
also,
End of story.
Because the TV show Game of Thrones is ended, and so probably he has no big kind of like urgency to try. And, we need to give him material.
But Shad, all of this comes from the main story of A Song of Ice and Fire, the unfinished series. These are side stories, and they're telling the background of a story that's never going to get finished. And George is just not interested in the main story. And so imagine if Star Wars never finished,
I know,
and ended with the Return of the Jedi, because that's where it ended. But imagine where that, and they just like, George just did Rogue One, or like little side stories, or Clone
he just
Wars
did Book
forever.
of Boba Fett. Yeah,
he just did Book of Boba Fett. Like that's what we're talking about.
Do you mean like if he did Empire and then nothing and then
Book
nothing?
Of Boba Fett? No, that's a great analogy. Yes. Fucking ended with Empire. Han Solo is frozen. Like everything's gone to shit, and we just never know.
Han Solo is frozen in carbonite, like Jon Snow is frozen in the ice cells right now.
Yep.
Right. Like, I guess I'm on the outside on that, because, and I totally get it. Like, if I had been reading the mainline books and loved them, I would feel just as annoyed at that. Because my introduction to it was actually the Hedge Knight, my own personal canon is that the Hedge Knight is the main Game of Thrones kind of thing for me.
There was people.
Your fucking personal canon is gay and stupid, Shad.
Yeah.
It's not fucking reality. Okay.
But it's the best. Like, I reckon it's the best. Well, so far we'll see. But I'm thinking this might end up being the best Game of Thrones series made.
It'll also be very simple and small scale and stuff,
Well, and let's be clear, Game of Thrones is a low bar to beat now overall. As long as it doesn't piss everyone off, it'll be good. And then House of Dragon is in murky waters. We don't know what's going on there.
It is, I think now, I am fully confident it is heading straight towards Game of Thrones season 8. It's barreling to it. Everything I read in that article, it's like, oh shit.
Yeah, but everything I read, that article just makes me hate George R. R. Martin even more, because he's got an excuse for everything. He's always a victim of some kind. He's got this soft, bruised ego because he always wanted to be a big Hollywood movie star. And as soon as somebody hurts his little fucking feelings, he fucking waddles off with his fucking cane and gets in his little cart and fucking runs away and starts talking mad shit about them on his blog. It's just like a pattern that continues to repeat. So at some point I have to say, what's the fucking problem?
What's the commonality here?
You know why Game of Thrones went to shit? Because he was fucking late on his books, right? Mm-hmm. And he did. I am convinced more than ever that everything we saw in Game of Thrones the last couple seasons was from George R. R. Martin's framework, right? What the things he told things was from his framework. Maybe not Arya killing the Night King. Maybe that's because there's no Night King in the actual books. With the exception of that, everything else was from him. And now I think he's changing all of that. He doesn't know who he's going to kill or not. We heard that in the fucking interview. Every time that fat fuck opens his mouth and says something or does a premiere or does something else or works on another television show, instead of sitting his ass in his little room on his stupid DOS computer, writing the only thing that matters, I fucking hate him more.
Well, especially when he said, well, if I feel like I can get these Dunk and Egg books out of the way and Fire and Blood Part 2, I might be able to finish the Winds of Winter, where on the other hand, you could finish the Winds of Winter and then do those other books, and then you'd be free. But he knows he can't finish, and he wants to be a star. That's it. He likes the Hollywood life, and I've said it a million times, the only thing he owes his fandom is the truth. If you can't finish the book, can't finish the book. That's fine. People will get mad, but it's stringing them along, and these are the people who made you really, really rich. And you could enjoy that. You would get a bunch of criticism at first for being honest, but then it would die down and you can go and buy more choo-choo trains and theaters and go to every convention, and that's fine. And the lore heads on YouTube, they would be happy because then they could create the lore for the rest of the Winds of Winter that we'll never see, and they can have their channels forever. You know,
that's what I was wondering. Because, like, if he said that, like, if he said, I'm not going to finish it and then add it on and I'm not going to let anyone else finish it, I could only imagine how pissed off that would make people. Like, because if he can't, if he can't
he
finish
doesn't
it,
need to write Fire and Blood. He can get, is it Elio Garcia, the guy who did World of Ice and Fire, which is a good book. He could do it. That guy could totally do it. He did a great job on World of Ice and Fire. So Duncan Egg, 3 Duncan Egg stories he wants to do. It's going to take him 3 years to do one.
You know, possibly they're short stories, but then he's so slow with everything. So on balance,
He didn't used to be.
No,
but
he's old now though. I mean, I get it.
He wrote Storm of Swords in a year.
His best book.
He's kind of olded himself, like by just not doing anything. He's become, like he had an era where he could have written a lot more. It's kind of gone. Like he's super old.
He wants to be a star. He wants to sit down for these photo ops. He wants to meet people. He wants to adapt more shows. And I'm so busy with this. They want me to do this.
He really likes
you
all that.
Want to do that.
Yeah, like for anybody who thinks George is just this sweet little guy, he's not. Okay, he's got a massive ego, which he admits to. To be fair, he admits to. He walks around with a posse of 9 fucking people all the time, following him around. That would be annoying as shit, by the way.
Are they like security or just
no? When I was
diabetes medicine, probably
I was kind enough to be invited on the set of the Orville season 3, and my friend who invited me thought, you're a big fan of George R. Martin. Hey, why don't you come the same day that he's going to be there? I'm like, oh, cool. So, and I talked to a couple of them, and they were really nice. They were really cool, and we were chit-chatting away. Did not talk to George. Of course, I've told the story where he didn't shake my hand. But he was rolling around on the set in the Orville with 9 assistants running him around. He calls them his minions.
Okay.
Did one happen to be a young, attractive woman? Just
one was, yes.
Okay.
But he's got a wife, so
yeah, they're happy. That's why he won't kill Arya, because his wife loves Arya.
His wife loves Arya.
My apologies for any insight.
I don't think George's dick works anymore. I can't imagine. So
yeah. But just being 77, Ryan, you're not going to have the mental energy. You're not going to have that fire that you had earlier. Believe me, that shit starts going before.
Yeah.
So
I want to die now. I can't even imagine being that old. Ultimately, it's been 14 years. It would be so difficult. Like, imagine Mauler. Well, maybe you actually can sympathize a little bit with your Force Awakens story, but
I put out another one. Damn it.
You did. But imagine that you were editing one video, right? You were doing this big video and you were editing one video, and it's been over a decade since you started between you editing it now. And the amount of things that you'll go back to and chapters you'll look at and be like, well, I don't know about that anymore. Like, I don't know about that anymore. Yeah, when you have chapters in one book, in one story that you've edited 14 years apart, you're probably going to feel different things. You're probably going to feel a certain way. Like, it's such an impossible task. And he's made it that way because he has procrastinated so long.
Exactly.
And as of right now, with 1,100 manuscript pages done on a book that is projected to have about 2,000 manuscript pages when it's all said and done, he has not made any progress in 4 years. Now, has he written some more? Maybe, but he's also deleted some more, or changed some more, or edited some more. He's made 0 progress.
To your point, Ryan, and I mentioned this in early videos, the culture has changed a couple of times since he wrote A Dance with Dragons, and the culture within publishing, and the culture that he surrounds himself with politically. So when he goes on to Worldcon and mispronounces a name and then gets canceled, that probably shocks him. But those are the people he brought in. If you guys don't remember, he did during COVID, he did Worldcon, remotely, and mispronounced some bitch's name who was like best new writer. and she went out and fucking railed on the guy, and he helped her get the award. So these are the kind of people he was letting in. So like while he's writing and just wants to write freely in the world of Westeros, which is medieval and horrible things happen, he's like, oh, I can't have her get raped. I'll get canceled.
Well, I guess I can't describe my dick going down her throat the same way.
Yeah, I know, exactly.
One gripe I have with Game of Thrones generally is that because Game of Thrones is so kind of dark and stark and terrible things happen, people do paint the medieval period as more awful than what it really was. Awful things happened, of course, but there were really nice stuff happened as well, with festivals and, you know, times of plenty and things, and it wasn't all
Westeros is not that place. It is just not. That's why it is kind of cool when you see a hero go through what they do there and stay good, like Dunk.
That's one of the effective things about the world, because look, I think it's too dark for what, you know, reality was in the medieval period. But by doing that, when you actually do have decent people appear in this universe, they stand out more. That's why I felt Viserys really stood out in you know, House of the Dragon.
You mean Viserys in season 1 of Game of Thrones, right? He's the real hero.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Oh no.
Oh, hang on. I'm getting confused. I think
Viserys got done dirty. He was the rightful king. What are you talking about?
But I didn't even remember that guy's name in Game of Thrones.
He did get done dirty.
Harry Lloyd,
who reads Knight of the Seven Kingdoms on Audible. He's very good at it.
Unlike Mauler, he can read.
Yeah, but thanks to him, I can consume it because he's
brilliant Doctor Who episode, 2-parter. The Family of Blood.
Yeah, that's good shit.
Good shit. But
he's doing everything he turns up in. It's good acting.
So they really just did introductions this episode. It laid
a good foundation that got me invested, and I want to see what happened. And of course, they set up an important conflict that is facing now. He needs somehow to prove he's a knight to enter the tourney, and look, I felt it was just good storytelling stuff that I really love. Good characters.
It's a backwater tourney that in normal circumstances a freaking Targaryen would never go to, but they have to go to this one because this is a time when, you know, post Dance with the Dragons, and their line is not, you know, people are starting to wonder, wow, they don't have dragons. Why are they in power? And they need to,
way to spoil House of the Dragon, bro.
Sorry.
No.
It's so hard to talk about these things with Mauler here sometimes.
Yeah. No, I'm joking. That's intuitive if you've seen Game of Thrones, obviously.
Yeah.
I think that's a good plot point because you know, it sets up that the Targaryens are probably a little bit sensitive to any implication that they might be weak, and that actually comes up.
Yep.
In this
kind of understandably so, right? Like they got in power because they're dragons. Aegon and his sisters come in with, you know, dragons roaring, and they're looked at as different. They're looked at as different than everyone else because they have dragons, because they can control dragons, because they look different. But now that they don't have that power, it rests solely on the name, and really only 200 years of tradition.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're not talking about thousands and thousands of years the Targaryens have ruled this land. You're talking about, you know, this takes place probably 200 AC.
Yeah, so it's a couple hundred years, and you're dealing with you know, the Starks, who have been around forever, right? There's families who have been around forever, and you know, the Baratheons haven't, you know, but it's going to set up other things, we'll say. And there's good Targaryens and there's bad Targaryens, and there's kind of a lot of them again. So they've respawned.
they have. Now, yes. We also get introduced in this to when you said conflict, I was wondering if you were going to talk about this, but you get introduced to the Fossaways.
Yes.
Yes. You get introduced to the Fossaways, Stefan Fossaway and Raymond. Is that his cousin's name? Raymond Fossaway, I believe.
I can't remember.
I think it is, but you get introduced to them, and Stefan Fossaway seems like kind of an asshole. And you get a little bond that's formed between Raymond and Dunk. which, may be important going forward. I feel like most people that we get introduced to, I don't feel like the cast is going to be as massive of what we're used to for these shows. I think most people that you end up having interactions with that seem important are likely going to remain important throughout. That's kind of the vibe I get. Except for maybe the horse,
Yeah.
They're my favorite.
Oh, you mean the horse? I thought you said horse.
I do like the horses.
Horses, but like the horse actually had a more prominence than I was expecting. Like
the horse with a heart of gold.
Yeah, they're nice whores. But I can see why they're kind of, obviously wanting to pad things out a bit, stretch it out. Because, like I said, in terms of the actual plot of the graphic novel, it ends pretty quickly. I wasn't expecting it to end that shortly in terms of the overall plot, and that's because they were able to pad it out with the Baratheon scene, which worked. It didn't end off on a banger, but it was enough to get me invested to know how this conflict gets resolved, and of course, wanting to see what'll happen with this, this odd knight who wants to become something,
and does.
I like that we get so many. Look, Dunk is awkward, and I think it works really well in the show so far. I think the actor is doing a great portrayal, with the exception of, like, it's kind of hard for me to buy that Dunk is like 18 years old, which is what he should be, and what makes sense for a squire, right? I mean, he kind of looks like he's in his mid-30s.
Yeah, he looks 30.
Like, what are you doing squiring in your mid-30s? But
hard living in Westeros.
Hard living in Westeros is like Obi-Wan in the desert,
But he aged so quickly.
I do think that, for me, from his body language to his interactions to the way he speaks, it feels spot on.
It's great.
I think
casting.
Spot on casting and performance so far.
And Egg is really good too. The kid.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Where he does do a good job, Egg, where you can see that he's not an idiot. He knows things and is also holding things back a bit. I love that they actually point out that, that Dunk does hunch and tries to go a bit unnoticed. And it was obvious for the scene because he felt out of place in the scene as well, which oddly was one of the main, it was his height and his actions that caught Baratheon's attention. I like just even small things, how he kept knocking his head in the door. And stuff. And he when he's trying to meet with the person and he walks in the wrong direction and goes back. He's a very endearing character, and those are small things that actually aren't in the graphic novel, where they lean into his kind of goofiness, but it's more that he just he's awkward and he's unsure of himself. It all worked really well. Brilliant depiction of the character.
Great graphic novel, by the way. Highly recommend it. It's kind of my preferred read. I like the book too, but the graphic novel's great.
Yeah, and they're lifting. Well, it's funny because it seems like they're lifting a lot from the graphic novel, but the graphic novel was so close to the book because Mike, the artist, Mike S. Miller, worked so closely with George. Because this was done before Game of Thrones TV series is out, so George wasn't this massive name in Hollywood, and so Mike actually collaborated very directly with George, and that's why the graphic novel was so accurate. And then either the people producing the show are listening to George very closely, or they are taking inspiration from the graphic novel. But it's all very perfect, like one for one, how it's done.
I think Shad brought up a really good point earlier about almost every conversation with Egg that we've had so far. He's answering things in a way that makes Dunk think he knows the answer, but he's not. There's a lot being left unsaid that Dunk is just making assumptions for, like, oh, you're an orphan. And then Egg will be like, are you? Like, not answering, but turning it back on him type of thing. Which pulled from the material, but it's done well. So look, I think the little kid is really good for Egg from what we've seen so far.
Yep. Now, go on.
Well, I'm just because he's very, very scrawny, but you can't kind of predict how kids will grow up and stuff. And so, but that suit, you're absolutely right. It suits Egg completely. But yeah, I wonder. Like, the only thing his voice sounds. And this is a dumb thing to even really comment on, but his voice for Egg sounded very girly and high pitched. That was the only thing that kind of wasn't what I imagined. But
he's a little boy. He hasn't gone through puberty yet. Dumb fuck. Like how's it supposed to sound?
That's particularly high pitched for a little boy. I've got little boys. All right.
Liar.
Ryan got harsh there.
Real trigger there, man.
So what I'm
This
wondering,
9-year-old boy doesn't have the fucking voice, doesn't have a deep baritone.
I'm
This
not
fucking
criticizing
loco-
it.
I like watching birds.
I'm saying it's just not what I imagined. That's the
Hello,
that's the
Sir
only thing.
Duncan.
So as a proponent of the weekly release, big fan of it. I think it's smart. You can always binge later. I kind of think this one probably maybe they should have released this one all at once.
I think I would have enjoyed watching it that way because this one has like an okay ending for like a first episode, just a little introduction and stuff. For some of these other ones, I feel like they're gonna have tough places, like finding a
Real tough
satisfying way to
places.
end it for us to wait another week.
And we're
Really?
we're all fans of the. Well, I mean, Mahler's interested in it, but I'm wondering what most people. I saw some people in the chat saying it's boring, and I can kind of see how you'd feel that way.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I can. It's totally understandable. But yeah, I think this might have been better released in 2 parts or the whole thing.
3 parts at a time. It's a 2-week release, basically.
Something like that. Yeah,
Like
like
drop 3
an hour
episodes
in.
in
Yeah,
6
yeah.
Well, I mean, and I don't mean to. This is not even a criticism of the show whatsoever. But we didn't talk about the episode for very long.
Mm-mm.
If we've stuffed, it's
No,
just like
because not a lot happened. Dunk buries Sir Arlen a penny tree. He goes to an inn, runs into Egg, runs into a drunk guy, which will be important later. Decides to go to Ashford, goes to the Ashford tourney, talks to the guy who's running the tourney, and runs into a Fossaway and goes into Baratheon's tent, has a little rave scene, and then tries to get the Fossaway to it wasn't Fossaway, it was
I forget the name.
who was it?
Dondarrion.
Dondarrion to vouch for him, and he won't do it because he needs to be vouched for the tourney because nobody believes he's a knight.
I did like the Dondarrion sigil, by the way, on the tent. Did you see that? The black field with the lightning. Yeah, with the purple lightning. I liked it. Like, the thing is, you are right, Mo. We didn't talk about like some of the chunks of the episode. Part of that is I feel like we could talk about a lot right now, but only because we have other context of a lot of other shit that we're seeing.
Yeah.
Completely fair and true.
Yeah.
I got the POV of random TV viewer who's like, and by the way, it's not even criticism. Like I said, this kind of reminds me. I don't know if I'm off base here, Gary, but a bit of Pluribus in terms of like, this is cool. There's lots of stuff here. That okay, sure.
Yeah, if we did a live stream after the first episode of Pluribus, we'd be all,
yeah, we talk about the major events. They'd be like, all right, let's see where it goes. Yeah, see where it goes.
Well, in terms of having strong ending points, I think, Ryan, you have a point with the early parts, but as soon as the inciting incident happens, they're obviously going to end an episode pretty close right after the inciting incident, and then it's full steam from there on with a lot of kind of suspense.
It's kind of
the build up. And
I think that inciting incident might be the end of episode 3.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, I think end of episode 3 is where that.
And then we know what episode 6 is going to be. So, how do you end episode 4? I know we'll end episode 5 like right before 6 starts. I can imagine how that ends, but I don't know. Like, how does 2 end? How does 4 end? I don't know.
You're going to get the Targaryens probably next week, right? So,
they're
yes.
I think there's actually some opportunity because they've shown that they're willing to expand some parts of the story, like the Baratheon scene in this episode. And so that does get me a little excited that, okay, if they're good writers, there's opportunities to expand a bit more, like have a bit more Dunk preparing for certain things after the inciting incident, that there's opportunity there to have some, even additional stuff. So I'm kind of looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what they do with with additional stuff.
So of what we know Baelor is going to be there. We know Maekar is
Yep.
going to be there.
Yep.
We know Arian's going to be there.
Yep.
Did we have a casting? I guess I maybe haven't paid attention close enough. Is there a Valar casting?
I'll look.
I guess, not that that's like the most important thing, but it is kind of important. We should be getting a lot of Targaryens.
A lot.
And
Mhm.
well, I re-listened to the novel, the novella, this weekend in preparation for it because it'd been a year or two, and I do love this story so much for a variety of reasons, but especially because of some of the Targaryen stuff, which they don't spend a ton of time on. They're not your point of view characters, but specifically the differences in some of them and the good ones versus the bad ones. How this entire world could have been so different if this story doesn't take place. It's very, when you are a fan of the world, and like you're into the world, when you see characters like the ones we're going to see throughout this season come up, specifically the Targaryens, and you have those things in your head, and it's, man, things could have been really fucking different.
Yeah. So to the world of Ice and Fire, to Westeros, each story has major impact to the history of Westeros. Like massive impact. So it is, I said slice of life, but it has repercussions without spoiling anything, like big repercussions. So I didn't see him. All I see is Prince Maekar, Aerion Brightflame,
the casting for Aerion is spot on. He looks like
Daeron the drunkard. Yeah.
Oh well. The casting for Aerion looks perfect. He just looks like some dude you want to fucking punch in the face, which is exactly
dude. It's so good.
It's really good. He needs to look like a Draco Malfoy type or a Joffrey type. I mean, he basically is Joffrey. So like literally, because George only writes the same 4 or 5 characters over and over again.
Well, how many Arya Starks are there, dude?
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Brienne is basically Dunk, right? Like
yes, well, yeah, and he's
Pod is Egg.
Yes, and Dunk is possibly an ancestor.
Well, the audiobook actually says like before Tyrion and Podrick there was Dunk and Egg, as though is that supposed to be like that's the dynamic or something?
Kind of. He does repeat things a lot, and
George writes the same things over and over and over again, and it happens to be good things, and it works. But
I think some of that's intentional, right? Like he believes history just repeats itself basically forever.
Yes, and he also likes tomboy girls who ride horses, and kind of his thing.
So Mola
he also likes writing about nipples.
Yep. Yes, he does.
Well, you've mentioned that you picked up, hints here and there, because I'm interested in what someone who doesn't know anything about the story, what they would predict from this first episode, because there's clues. There's some very significant clues laid out very well that get fulfilled later on, and I'm interested if someone who, again, don't know the story would pick up on certain things and have certain questions. But do you know too much of the story to?
Unfortunately, yeah. For example, like, why would a kid be bald is an interesting question for some people. Maybe not actually, but I know the answer to that. And then it's like, maybe some people don't even know if that's a question. Like, some people are just like, who cares?
It's just
bald kid.
It's bald kid.
Yeah.
They think he's like, it's like they're referencing Varys. Oh, I bet this is like a Varys's ancestor or something.
Varys's grandpa.
Like the Stranger Things conformity gate people are picking up right now.
There's a race of people with no hair.
That's why his voice is so high. Like Shad was onto something. His voice is high because actually a eunuch who is like a time traveler and would become Varys. Yeah.
But no, I so weirdly there's like an angle here, and unfortunately Fringy couldn't join us, but I think this would be his take. It just seems like a nice story about a guy who's just doing stuff, and there's no grand like weirdly, House of the Dragon was much more of a like, this set of there's all these, but this one felt a lot more like, I like this dude. I hope he, he gets this shit done. I hope he makes it simple. But of course, there's still people doing some stuff that's just like, okay, that's interesting. Like the guy in the tavern or whatever. Just I wonder what that's all about. And then the different family names getting mentioned and stuff is always going to be interesting to anybody who's got any familiarity, even just with the shows. You'd be like, "Ooh, that's that." I guarantee you, like everybody who's watched Game of Thrones and possibly House of the Dragon are just gonna be like, "When is this set? Do I recognize anybody? Are they gonna give me any kind of key jangles here? Can I see Baby Ned Stark, please?"
Well, you get in future stories, you get Baby Walder Frey.
Yeah. Yes.
I was gonna say, what's
the
'cause my
time
history
traveling
is-
Walder.
And you get, should I say it, Ryan? Should I even
Yeah,
say
you
it?
can say it.
Yeah, you get Bloodraven.
Mm-hmm.
With the three-eyed
Um,
crow. So
Correct me if I'm wrong. I think when George wrote The Hedge Knight, of course, he was on a deadline because he promised somebody he'd write a short story for this big collection of short stories, and he was fucking late, so he had to do something. So he made this up and got it in there. And I don't believe at that point in time he had thought or he had put the Blackfire Rebellions into actual story yet.
Yeah.
So it's only in subsequent books where you really start getting into some of that, more so than what was actually set during the Hedge Knight when it was written originally. But
yeah.
So if this goes however long George actually writes anything, we'll find out about that. What about Aemon Targaryen? He was pretty old in Game of Thrones. So like,
you will get in all likelihood a name drop of Aemon.
At the very least. Yeah.
Well, you're not going to get an appearance, but you will get an. I fully believe we will get a name drop.
obviously, for the record, none of that's important. I was just curious. Like, it doesn't.
Yeah.
I don't need. It's not like what I hope for is a really good story in and of itself.
Well,
And
this.
I mix,
Go on.
I mix up the Targaryens all the time because they all have either the same or similar
Yeah,
names
yeah.
to someone else. It's like, how many friggin' Aegons have there been at this point in time? It's like,
Yeah, you're not going to get any. Well, I don't know if that's entirely true. I was going to say you're not going to get any magic or anything in this first season.
well, I don't remember any in the next story.
There's a teeny bit.
There might be. I need to reread it. It's been too long.
What's really magic was that puppet show we saw. So that
The budget.
that puppet show
budget.
is very important for this story. And in the book, it's basically this this dragon puppet that they like spit sawdust out to make it look like blood or fire or whatever. This was like a whole. This looked like you were going to Disney or Universal or some shit.
Yeah, I was
Man,
impressed,
the whole
man.
dragon
Yeah, Mahler was like, "Wow, that's some production right there."
yeah.
In the graphic novel, it's just a woman with holding the marionette kind of puppet thing strings,
Yes.
doing the thing. So yeah, they certainly got an upgraded budget for this version.
And you see a little lock eyes with Tanzel.
Yeah.
who,
Tanzel too tall.
Tanzel too tall. I don't think you're too tall.
Not too tall.
Not too tall for. Not too tall for what, sir?
Mm.
No.
So overall, I liked it. I don't think it's going to shatter the world, and I'd be really interested to see what people who just come in to it cold think. But I would say,
Yeah.
hang on. It gets better, but it's never going to be some fast-paced thing.
Well, this is going to be a slow build, and I think it's going to end with a bang. And
It does.
even from this first episode, right? There's all positive things to say. It's not earth-shattering, nothing huge happens, but the characters are great. It gets you invested, and I think just even word of mouth will get people on board, and we're going to see more interest as the show progresses. So
I think I've already heard some complaints from A Song of Ice and Fire channels about the shitting scene in the beginning. I thought it was kind of funny, so
Yeah, me
I'm
too.
fine with it.
when I think about it, I was like, all right, I can see what you're doing there. It was jarring. It was a bit off-putting when it was just jumped at you. It was like, okay.
You can take it two ways, right? You can take it that it was just purely like a comedic, like a shocking comedic thing. or you can take it as a little bit of a subliminal messaging. I think it's dumb if they're attempting to, because like the only reason you're able to make this story is for better or worse, regardless of how it fucking ended. It was the success of that show and that theme and what it evokes in people. And I think it's a silly thing to do if your intention is to shit all over.
I don't think that was their real intention. I think their real intention is to show you what type of show this is.
That's
so
what
yeah. So like this is going to have dick and fart jokes in it. So
yes, yeah.
That's pretty much what they're saying, and I'm fine with that. I'm fine with laughing and having some traditional heroism, and there's still the political stuff to a much lesser extent, but that's still there. And there are no dragons, and it's
there are Targaryens,
yeah,
but there are no dragons.
No dragons.
Yeah,
no.
Maybe
dragons.
people that view themselves as dragons.
Maybe lots of those.
Again, George only writes the same fucking characters. So Aerion Brightflame, you're gonna hear a lot of things out of him that sound like they're coming from Viserys from Game of Thrones, right?
Yeah, and I like the casting for Baylor Breakspear too. I thought,
who's gonna be fucking Fudge in the Harry Potter show, right?
Is he?
I believe so.
No way.
I think.
Hey, I just figured out who Lupin is.
I haven't listened yet.
Oh, it's Ramsay Bolton.
Is it
the guy who voices Lupin in the Harry Potter audio?
So now my immediate image that comes to my mind is of werewolf Lupin raping Sansa Stark.
Yes.
All
no,
right.
I was like, I know this voice.
He's Welsh, right? That actor.
I don't know.
Does he have a fucked up name? Probably.
I just wasn't used to hearing him sound nice, so I'm like, this is odd.
Yeah,
like,
but Baylor Breakspear is, I think, he's one of my favorite characters in terms of such a small role, but he's one of my favorite characters in the Song of Ice and Fire universe.
Yeah.
And he's much like every character. He's probably a little older than he should be.
Yeah, everybody is.
Everybody is, just like Dunk is. He should only be about 39, probably, but almost everyone's aged up.
Early Game of Thrones, they were close. Jon was fairly young looking. So that'll never happen again.
So, question: do you think most people who are going to watch this will have watched House of the Dragon coming into it, or do you reckon there's going to get a lot of fresh interest?
I think most people.
Amount of people that watch that, yes,
because the interesting kind of different experience I had watching this this episode, right? The live action compared to when I was introduced with the graphic novel, right? Like I mentioned, the graphic novel, that was the first Game of Thrones things I ever read. And I actually didn't know the context of the Targaryens well enough to really get some of the heavier implications of what's going on. But having watched House of the Dragon coming into this, that contextualizes who the Targaryens are and were really, really well. And so just thinking about how they play into this story now in the live action, I actually have a better contextual understanding that certain things I already feel are going to hit a bit stronger as a result. And so if people, and I actually do think if people have watched House of the Dragon, they might get more and enjoy this one even more.
Do you think
some of the context?
On that note, that maybe it would have been better to have released this once House of Dragon is wrapped up?
Maybe, actually. Maybe. Yeah, because the people will understand certain implications. Yeah. I think most people know how House of the Dragon wraps up now. But
well, look, if you watch Game of Thrones, one, you've heard about Dunk and Egg already. And also, you already know how House of the Dragon fucking ends.
Yes.
Because
Joffrey.
I know. That's all true, but the average watcher of that show is not going to remember.
And like I think what Chad's saying is it gives you like more context.
Yeah, like a character context of the family and their impact.
And I would agree with that. But after season 3, Shad, you'll have much more context of the Targaryens. How they wrap that show up is, I've talked about this with Ryan from day one. I'm like, I do not know how they wrap that show up. That's there is an ending, but it's going to be really hard. I'll just say that it's going to be really, really hard.
The reason it's weird is because you're not adapting a book, you're adapting like a chapter out of a history of Westeros in which immediately something else happens relevant, and then immediately something else happens.
Yeah,
relevant,
it just continues on.
Like,
so like
you
this
could
story
go on
ends, but
forever. Yeah,
this story ends, but now it goes on, and then I can't like give specifics at all because it'd be spoiling. But it will just be difficult. We'll just say that. You want to get to the people, guys? Shall we get to the
Sounds
people?
good.
Sure.
Everybody, show your sympathies to Ryan. Hey, the Bears fought hard, dude. That fucking play on 4th down was amazing. That
was one of the craziest things I've ever seen in my life, and I've seen a lot of crazy things this year. And then it's so frustrating when fucking DJ Moore, who's a dog sometimes, just stops running a route across the middle of the field for that pick in overtime. It's like, it really frustrates me. Balls bouncing off guys' hands the entire fucking night.
You're talking to a Charger fan, brother. Okay.
Yeah.
We invented new ways to lose. What do you think about the sports ball, Mahler? Big fan?
I just can't believe that you'd be watching a fight with bears, man. It's pretty fucking disgusting.
It was Bears versus Rams. So
I don't even feel like there should be much competition, but maybe I just don't
How
understand.
could a bear lose to a ram? That just doesn't make sense.
I know.
It doesn't. Eric K says, congrats, Ryan, on a great season. Caleb surprised me. I think those guys are going places, Ryan. I think your team is going places. The drought is over.
It's a shitty end of the season, but the future is very, very bright.
Mm-hmm. I was watching a cathartic video, and I think it was basically called "Why You Should Never Be a Charger Fan," and it was. I felt cathartic after watching it, and the guy just like ran across the history and just told it's basically for all the San Diegans. It's like, don't you dare be a fan of the LA Chargers. They suck and they hate you. And I feel good about it.
Someone says those 3 interceptions weren't surprising. And someone says Caleb loves throwing picks. Just for the record, through his first 2 years in the NFL, first 1,000 pass attempts, he has the lowest interception rate in the history of the fucking league, by the way. Now, like, just for the record, he doesn't just throw picks. It's not something that happens. Now, it did happen in this fucking game. I will say this. The first one you can blame on him. The second one, Colson Loveland ran the wrong route. He read man instead of zone, and he fucking went the wrong way. And then the second, DJ Moore just stopped running across the field. I don't know why. I don't know why he did that, but it's a shitty way for it to fucking end.
From Eric K, the mod has been a member for 73 months. You glutton for punishment. Waiting for the stream will be longer than the episode they watched. Almost. Stop raping her,
sir. Stop raping, sir. I did. I actually legitimately laughed at that line.
I thought that
and
was funny.
I don't laugh out loud very often.
No, you don't. Vermithor for $25. Thank you. Hail, boys. Happy to be back. Slow start, but pretty close to the book. So a win in my eyes. I doubt we will ever see Summer Hall solved in the end. I'm with you there. Sorry about the Bears, Ryan. This Bucks fan was pulling for you.
Hey, thank you, Vermithor. You know, at least I'm not a San Francisco 49ers fans. I know we've got at least one of those losers in the chat for sure.
Oh,
imagine being a San Francisco 49ers fan. Not only do you get butt fucked and destroyed, but you probably liked it because you're probably fucking gay because you live in San Francisco.
But they don't play there, Ryan.
Rough.
They don't play there. They're closer to San Jose.
Santa Clara.
Yep. Highlight of the episode was definitely the stomp dance Dunk and Lionel had. Kind of gay, but hilarious.
Interesting. Guys, what would be your highlight of the episode if you were to pick one moment?
The highlight for me probably of all of that was at the very end.
At the end,
like at the very end, laying down the shooting star and that last little they Dunk and Egg finally kind of come together.
Yep, they
as weird as it sounds, probably the beginning, and even more so in retrospect, just a person who basically reaches the end of a chapter and has no idea what they're supposed to do, looks at basically what they have left and then tries to scrape something together to get a path. I like that sort of thing.
Yep.
The way I'm interested to see where it goes.
Yeah, I don't know what mine would be.
I like the
there
end.
are moments I liked
When he takes on Eggs
I
Esquire.
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oddly enough, I think one of the things that I just really love that interaction between Dunk and Egg when Egg was on the horse and the talking past each other. And it also shows some of the and you know, one of the other things when Dunk, because what I really like is when Dunk really shows that he has a good heart. And so when he says you're an orphan and he feels sympathy. And the part that I really liked was when he was saying, look, I'll take you on and I'll look after you. You know, you're not going to be hungry. I'll feed you and I won't beat you
unless you deserve it. You
Unless
get
you
a
deserve
slap
it.
in the air.
Yeah, it was cool.
That was a good tender moment where it shows his good heart. You know,
And Dunk, like when he's just asking the whores for help and they're kind of making fun of him. He's just like, I was just asking for a little help. Like Dunk is genuine. He's very fucking naive, basically, but he is genuinely a good person, and you'll see that come to bite him.
On that note, it's kind of cool because you get this sense that everybody's trying to kind of get the best out of everyone else all the times. You have to be on your guard and witty, careful. But he was genuinely just like, you don't need to make fun of me. And then they were like, oh. Yeah, okay, you know, it's all right. Yeah. It's just rare. They don't come across people like that. Like, oh, okay, yeah.
What do you think of the theme with the like whistling? Almost feels like almost like a touch of a Western type of thing.
I liked it. I liked the music. I thought it fit. I thought it fit that whole scene. It looked like a bunch of it looked like a Ren fair, but like a well done Ren fair.
A good one. Because didn't George complain about the tourney in Game of Thrones that they did?
Well, he complains about a lot of shit, but one of the things he complains, which they didn't really address here, but I think they will, is the lack of color. Like they've really and I know you've complained about that too, and my son's complained about it, but the colors match more the graphic novel. There's bright colors in Westeros, right? Yeah. And everything's all kind of dulled down, and I think we're gonna finally get some
heraldry,
and some proper armor, you know.
Unfortunately, I've already seen a couple screenshots. They still are inconsistent with the fucking dragon legs somehow.
Yeah, I heard that too. I heard that it's like
the entire reason George wrote the Hedge Knight was because he had written Game of Thrones, and you have the tourney in Game of Thrones for, you know, the Hand of the King and all that stuff, but it's very small. And he loves tourneys. He loves the idea of that. So that's why he decided to write this book in the setting that it was.
Ivanhoe.
Well, from the trailer and even things that I've seen here, it's interesting. There are some very, very authentic medieval elements in here, more so than actual movies that are based in the medieval period. I'm actually very excited to see what they do with the jousting, the tournament, the heraldry, the way the night structure. Like all this stuff is actually, for a medievalist, just really, really fun and engaging. Like I said, I pointed to certain things out already that were just little, you know, cherries on top with that little elements of accuracy. The sword, the palfrey, and there was even another one I took a note of. But they're just like good things. So I'm really looking forward to the whole tournament kind of thing, how they handle it and depict it.
I bet you love it, because I heard this year the armor is kind of more accurate than ever. So
nice.
And they in the past, it's not like they've sucked. Like it's been pretty good.
Well, House of the Dragon stepped it up massively from Game of Thrones, like massively. And this one feels even more like it's just like maybe the
King's Guard will actually be wearing white armor at some point. You never know.
Oh, please.
Yep. Chung Bain for $5 says, feels good to have a Sunday Ice and Fire streams back. Look forward to them as much as the show. Thanks. We're gonna do twice this year. August
back.
That's right.
Yeah. House of the Dragon comes back in August. 4 Foot Perspective has become a member. Welcome. Thanks for being here.
4 foot perspective. That's short.
That is short.
But hello.
Whoa. Didn't expect to see Jeremy in Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Wanted to call him Jeremy Snow. Oh,
Which character was Jeremy?
Egg.
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think who was the gayest character in the episode.
Bro, why am I egg on the fucking thumbnail? I just saw that shit a little bit ago.
It's because of your forehead. You're as bald as is, dude.
It's not bald.
Wow.
Oh, come on, Ryan's giving me a dig. I get to get one back.
As if your hairline is any better than mine, Shad.
It is.
Hey, it's not bad for a 55-year-old guy, right?
Exactly,
Okay?
but he's younger than I am. I have a massive fucking forehead. Luckily, I don't have a receding hairline yet. It's always been this big since fucking high school. Maybe I should fucking sweep my hair all the way down low like Shad's on this side so it doesn't look like my fucking hairline's that bad. Maybe I should do that.
It is getting there. But
Yeah.
luckily, I think I'm going to keep my hair. Because if I haven't gone bald yet, usually you're safe by my age.
Yeah,
so.
67 kids. It's understandable. Who is Egg? Is he the Mad King's great uncle? 4 dog spoons for 5 Canadian pesos.
Egg could be anyone at this point.
No, not that.
We'll leave it there.
Yeah.
I was expecting more as the story and characters from the book. Spaghetti Western guitar whistling doesn't work for me. It worked for me. Too much filler. Fair enough, Channel Surf, who's a good dude, by the way. Good dude. I liked it, though. But we'll see. We'll see. The pace will get picked up. I just don't know how it will be executed. How's that sound?
By episode 3 onwards,
Yeah.
what Ryan and I were thinking. That's when this,
Kyle Holtz for $199.99. There's an either for Gary. Cheers, Kyle. Cheers. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you for being here. Tragedy at Summer Hall in the series finale.
George has a lot to write.
Yep, there's a lot to write for Summer
George
Hall.
would have to write about 10 more Dunkin' Egg stories to get there.
Minimum.
And
The
then we can
She-Wolves of
finally
Winterfell
see.
Don't worry, they're on the way.
Yeah.
Then we can finally see if there's a reason that big old foot was saved.
Our Hiltzert. Oh, what's up, guys?
They're
How's
awesome.
it going? They are awesome.
love the icon there.
Their channel's hilarious,
The
man.
channel's hilarious. I listen to you guys on my 5-mile walks all the time. So, hail, brothers. Hope you're doing well. Guys,
They have some of the best videos in a Song of Ice and Fire universe, like The Mountain Did Nothing Wrong.
Yeah, dude.
That's one of my favorites.
It's so good. Guys, the Winds of Winter is coming out this year. Trust the plan.
Yeah.
Trust the plan. Tolkien would shake your hand, Gary. Yeah, he probably would. Shad and I visited his grave. That was an awesome moment. That was like
it really was. When we were taking the photo, though, I didn't know what to do. It's like you're at a guy's grave, and so you're like respectful or like, hey.
You don't want to be like dancing around, take a. It's like when you go to Auschwitz. Should you really take a smiling selfie? You know, decisions.
We're gonna go back, Shad. We're gonna go back. Okay, Oxford. That's where I want to do the meetup. I want to do the meetup at Oxford. Yeah.
Oxford was
gorgeous. Yeah, that's where I want to do it. We'd be close enough to Chipping Norton, and then we can go see Clarkson's farm again, see if our signatures are still on the wall at the cafe.
Yep.
But thanks. I would have shaken his. 3,943 people. We tripled Star Trek. We did, Killjoy. We did.
Yeah. We passed 4,000.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
we beat Star Trek, Starfleet Academy by a lot. My Spock action figure made Fox News.
Yeah, like Greg, you could mention Gary as like,
some guy
on YouTube.
Some fucking nerd did a live stream with a doll.
Some disgusting creature from a basement.
Some dude, a YouTuber. I'm like, I kind of like that. That was surreal. I saw it on Twitter. I'm like, what? And there's my Spock action figure on.
Maybe the 4-foot perspective is actually Greg Gutfeld's alt account.
It might be because that's how tall he is. So When you play the Game of Thrones, you win or you die. What happened? Or you don't finish. When you play the Game of Thrones, you win, you die, or you don't finish. That's how you gotta.
What happened? Well, what do you mean?
Do they mean like it didn't get finished right, or are they asking about this in relative to the show? I have no idea.
In relative to the show, we're not playing Game of Thrones.
No,
we're playing Man on Horse. Doing
Man on
40.
Horse,
Playing knighthood.
trying to find his way with basically nothing. Clothes on his back. Well, not basically nothing. Actually, in Westeros, having 3 horses is fucking an embarrassment of riches.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah.
But
for a year.
But those horses are really important to him. And the horses, like Chad said, they all have different like uses. You know, Thunder is like the war horse. That's what you ride in the tilts. That's what you ride for the joust. Like that's your war horse. You ride into battle. Whereas Sweetfoot is a little bit older, nice steady pace, been around a long time. Chestnut is the other one that we don't get too much talk about, but yeah.
Because he mentions one specifically as a palfrey. And so I like Destrier. I want to hear Destrier because that's the war horse. That's right there. So
Well, he mentions that a lot in the books.
I think he'll just say war horse probably. But yeah.
But
Better
that
translation to
term,
the audience, probably.
yeah, that term shows up a lot in A Song of Ice and Fire. A lot. So does like Cersei banging a girl. I remember Little Platoon got to that part and he's like, what the hell's going on here? Because he just read him.
Wait, isn't like the woman that Cersei's finger banging, doesn't he describe her pussy as like a swamp or something?
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
My God.
This is why you have to read more often, Mahler. You
don't know how.
Depictions like that.
You already
get
said
depictions like that.
Don't rub it in, Ryan.
It is.
You could get descriptions of every fucking nipple in Westeros, like the amount of bumps that are around the edges, you know, how hard the nipples are, all this stuff.
Well, the fact that Harry Lloyd can read means I don't have to.
Yeah.
Fair. He reads very well, by the way. I think he went to school. Jasper Lane for 20. Just finished it myself. Have to say I enjoyed it. Reread the book before, and hearing some of the book dialogue made me smile. I can't help but be pessimistic, though, because so far A Song of Ice and Fire is batting 0 for 2, but I hope I am wrong. As Ryan said earlier, if this one just goes 3 seasons and that's it, it would be fine. It would be fine because you're not going to be left hanging or anything at all. It could just be the end of the story. That's all.
House of Dragons not written off yet. You know.
I have hope for House of the Dragon still.
I also think it is very tough to just simplify Game of Thrones, all of Game of Thrones, and say, well, they're 0 for 2. You know what I mean? Even with the way it ended, we still got 4 seasons of some of the best shit we've ever seen.
Yep.
Which is hard to separate from the ending, but it still does exist. You know what I mean? And I rewatched the first 4 seasons of Game of Thrones probably once or twice a year. Honestly,
I haven't since the event, but a friend of mine has just gotten started up on it for the first time. I even kind of was like, "You sure you want to do that?"
Yeah,
you know how it goes. And he was like, "Yeah, I want to." And I was like, "All right." Yeah.
I got up to season 4, and then I pop into certain episodes that I like Hard Home. I'll watch Hard Home. That episode rocks, dude. That was everything we were supposed to get and didn't get. If we get wins, you know what? Losing the original Night King,
Glidus has famously promised, if Winds of Winter releases, that he will eat the entire book.
Yeah.
So
I hope the book is enormous.
It's gonna be. He made that promise 5 years ago.
He did. So,
yeah.
Good lad, Glidus.
Good luck, buddy. You'll need a
Glidus may disappear after that promise. He was last seen a horse, and he was just gone.
Yeah. The Last Boy Scout became a YouTube member. Hail! I like that movie. I do. Bonesaw is ready for $5. Says, looking forward to checking this out. A smaller story in A Song of Ice and Fire sounds interesting and and of itself. Ryan, sorry, Caleb loves throwing picks. Oh boy,
Yeah.
nobody loves throwing picks. Do you think they're going to stick to the House of the Dragon book ending? Yes. How they get there and what are the circumstances?
The real question is everyone going to be portrayed as like stupid or villainous as they probably should be, or maybe not villainous, but just kind of crazy, you know?
It does feel like we're kind of going somewhere like that. You know, it's not things are getting out unraveled. Like, it's such a shame we didn't get the big fight at the end of season 2 to see if it felt like that season came together fully at that point.
I feel like even you can't discount like some of the missteps or pointless decisions or the Massaria stuff. Like there's some things that still we would still look back and be like, why did it do that? I do genuinely feel if they had the ending they were supposed to have, which is going to be a massive battle with huge implications, I feel like we'd probably feel a little bit different about the season.
Yeah,
because it really did feel like it was leading up to something, and it felt like we were just fucking jerking off, and then we had to stop. So
it felt like what it is, a show with its head chopped off right at the end. It was like, wait, what the fuck?
That's exactly what happened. Yeah.
And
HBO said it was too expensive.
It's not just that HBO said it was too expensive. It's that they said it was too expensive while they were filming during a writer's strike. So they couldn't rewrite anything. You know what I mean? It's like the worst of all worlds.
I have lots of theories on how they're going to end it, and I can't say them because I don't want to spoil it for Mahler, but I think they are going to do one massive change that I think would piss off book fans. And I think they've already done that. Like Nettles not being in there is kind of huge. That's kind of a big miss. There's lots of theories of what happens to characters afterwards, and one I think is a possibility. They shit a lot more werewood stuff than I was expecting in House of the Dragon. A lot more.
And I loved a lot of that shit.
Yeah, I did too.
Well, yeah, we're in the minority apparently with a lot of that. The Damon storyline I thought was awesome, but most people hated it.
Further along I go in life, the more I realize most people are fucking retarded.
There you go. Was not expecting that stuff. I was joking about Caleb Ryan. Bears came a long way this season with Ben Johnson. Keep beating up the Packers and the Vikings. Says Bonesaw is ready.
Thanks, Bonesaw. Yeah, I was overall it's a really good season. It's gonna suck for a couple days.
I don't miss that at all. I don't miss that at all. Like being in a bad mood because sports ball. It's great not missing that. Wasn't crazy about a few changes they made, but no spoilers. Dunk meeting the Laughing Storm in episode was a great choice. Also, that actor, yeah, he's great. He's great. Thank you, Default, for $5. Transfer P Sailor Boy is a new member. Welcome to the madness. David Maddox for $9.99. Glad to hear episode 1 is doing well. Gonna wait until it ends. Might be a smart move, to be honest with you. So I can binge it with my dad, but I want to read the complete book before, maybe graphic novels 2 and 3 as well. Read the book, and definitely get the graphic novel. Highly recommend. It's available at your local comic store. If they're smart, they're stocking this right now, and it might be at Barnes and Noble. Art by Mike S. Miller. Mike S. Miller. I own some of the art.
And I'll be chatting with Mike. He's a regular host on the Culture Crusade on Night's Watch, and so I'll be able to chat with Mike and hear what he thinks about the show. Sure, he's got some.
Is he still? I mean, I don't want to tell. Is he still in San Diego? He was a former San Diego, and I don't know if he's still there or not.
Yeah, I don't know where he lives.
That's where I grew up.
Somewhere in the U.S.
Somewhere in the U.S.
Yeah. Right.
How do I say this one, Ryan? Shadow Quinner? Wait,
what?
You can't see it.
David
How do I
Maddox?
say this name?
Oh. Shadow. I don't know.
Shadow. Thank you for the $1.99.
Was everyone hesitating because we wondered if it's a slur?
I always assume that. Okay, I just it's good, and keep trying, everybody. But Jasper Lane for $10. Sorry, Mahler. I have written off Hot D. Apparently, George R. R. Martin has been quite vocal about Hot D, how it was handled, his story, and if he talks smack about Hot D, but not Game of Thrones season 8, well, something definitely stinks. I think he feels.
Don't need to apologize to me. It doesn't make a difference to me. Secondly, everyone wrote off Hot D before he even came out. So, like, this is
including
not news
me.
To me. I'm saying, I guess I'm speaking for myself mostly. I haven't written off Hot D. There's plenty of good stuff in season 2 that gave me some hope. And from what I understand of the stories being set up for season 3, there's going to be stuff that I'm probably going to be pretty interested in. As for him not talking about how bad Game of Thrones season 8 is, he doesn't have to. Everyone knows it's a catastrophe. There's no other interpretation.
I know everything's great with Ira Parker right now, and George and Iris, they're such close friends. We've seen this fucking show before. Ira Parker's going to do one little thing, not include one character or add one thing that they think, and George is going to get fucking miffed, and he's going to fucking stonewall him, and he's going to go fucking pick up his ball and go home. The same thing he did in fucking Game of Thrones. Like, Game of Thrones, it wasn't just because, like, they, like, ran out of shit or whatever. He, like, stopped talking to Dan and Dave because they left out a fucking character or two. And what I would have loved to see Lady Stoneheart in Game of Thrones, yes, I fucking would have. But because George became such a big, massive, butthurt, huge, diabetic loser fuck about it, because of those things, ultimately we got where we were, where he just fucking stonewalled and went away. That's what we're seeing now. We're in this same area. We're in the same spot with Ryan Condal right now. And George wants to be a big shot. He wants all the execs to listen to him. He thinks he knows everything about doing television. And so ultimately, I have no respect for anything that George R. R. Martin says about his fucking creative problems with anybody else, because this motherfucker, guess what? He keeps coming back for more. George R. R. Martin. All this happens with Game of Thrones. He's so hurt by it. Guess what? They fucking back up the Brinks truck for him to sit in his fucking place in New Mexico, not do shit, not write anymore, but do another HBO show after just being burned by Dan and Dave. So he does it. And then what happens? He gets burned by Ryan Condal. Oh my gosh. Poor George. Fake fucking victim George. I'm crying in my cabin, not writing Winds of Winter because there's fascism in the world and COVID's going on and all my old friends are dying. And I don't like to think about death because I'm a loser, right? And then what happens? He does it again for Duncan A. So, like, just stop having any sympathy or empathy for this fucking loser. Just stop it.
All of this is in his power, Ryan. Right?
Yeah,
he could say no to
do
anything. Like, he could just write his book, have plenty of money. He doesn't need the money. He does not need the money.
You know, he probably has enough money to have funded the Duncan Egg show himself and have full
Winds of Winter
control.
would be the most anticipated book, the biggest selling book of whatever year it comes out, like without a doubt. Publishing would be dying for something like that.
Oh,
it would be a cultural phenomenon, which they have not had in publishing for a long fucking time.
Since like the last Harry Potter. Yeah. Like,
so it would be
that long.
Nuts, and it would make him so much more money than any of these fucking shows would.
Yep.
And it's all in his power, and he doesn't do it because he has impulse control problems and he doesn't want to finish it. And he basically admitted that in the article. He just doesn't want to finish. So, as I've said before, the only thing he owes the people who made him incredibly rich is the truth. That's all. You don't have to finish the book. Nobody expects you to. Nobody expects you to. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he has these problems of Ryan Condal. Hey, maybe he's a dick too, but as you brought up on Friday Night Tights, Ryan, consider this. He said, Ryan doesn't read my notes anymore. Do you think maybe his notes are long and late?
Yeah.
Well, and Ryan said that he doesn't appreciate the restrictions. There are some things he literally cannot do.
Yep. Yeah.
Especially, like, imagine, like, if it's a late, correction that George had and it's already in the production change that they can't, go back on, especially if contracts have been made and actors and all that stuff. Yeah, their hands would be tied. And so I would be interested to know if
the thing is, he's been a showrunner before of a TV show. He knows how this works.
And there's criticism to be made that it's George's choice to abandon ship, like with some of these things. It's like, instead of remaining at least partially an influence at best, to try and write it as best as possible. We'll see what happens with that. But yeah, it's I don't know, man. He's his capital on deciding how I feel about a particular project is less and less as every day goes by. It's like, all right, George, calm down.
Just to be real, we gave George R. R. Martin 10 years of sympathy and empathy and patience, right? because we felt bad that his story ended the way that it did on television. We felt bad that he got burned this way. And we're like, but you know what? When we see his ending, we know it's going to be fixed, and we're willing to give you time to make that right, George. And then 10 years went by since Winds of Winter, and didn't fucking, still not happening. And then we get another fucking spinoff show, and another spinoff show, and a bunch of other spinoffs in production while George is not writing. He's not making progress. So the time for that is over. It's piss or get off the pot. And like I said, if you're not going to get it done, just be honest with everybody. Stop pretending like you are.
Yep. No, and it's his ego got bruised, and he could have easily worked out his relationship with Ryan Condell. Easily. Just a talk. But he refuses to do it because he doesn't want to change. And he keeps making shows for HBO. And there's going to be another one. Aegon's Conquest might be a movie.
Also, by the way, having 2 episodes kicked off and you're not allowed to rewrite is going to be one of the most fucking annoying things to do ever with a show that huge. And then having the original writer heckling you online while you're doing it.
That was David Zaslav. He came in with the hatchet and he started cutting budgets and said, because they were supposed to be 10-episode series.
But you know what I mean? Like how annoying it would be to deal with all of that without making a mess, right? Because you need the studio to actually still respect you. So you're supposed to be a problem solver. It's how it works. Then you also have the original author being like, "Wow, you're shit." It's like, thanks, man.
That's funny. Our relationship is abysmal, and then he puts it in the freaking deadline. It's like, God. I mean, I like it. I talk all the shit you want, but holy shit.
And what I'm sure there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. I'm sure Condell's an ass of his own. Like, these are all Hollywood people.
Sure.
But his response was, look, I really appreciate the working relationship that I had with George. I really want to get back there. I really want him to be a part of this. It was very, diplomatic, I guess, for lack of a better word. It doesn't feel like he's throwing public stones or arrows or anything. But the more this goes on and the more times that George takes time out of his day to do things that are not what his fans have been promised, the less I'm going to respect his opinion on anything.
Yep. And that's been earned. One big bugbear I have with House of Dragon season 2 is the White Worm is way too young. Yes. And annoying. She's way too young and thoroughly annoying.
Yeah, she's a black hole. She's terrible. Whenever anything surrounds her, it gets damaged.
She's not supposed to be that way. In the book, she's like, she's way more prominent in the show than she is in the book. But yeah, she's supposed to be, well, I don't want to say what her end is, but being at
she went from being like some bit part that I didn't understand what the purpose of it was to being like, oh, she could be interested into, oh my God, every scene with her is horrible. She's killing everything. Get her out. And let's be real, the acting isn't great. No,
it's not. She's been the same age since season 1. This is true. This is true. And there was a big time jump. Kick this over to Rumble and review Ricky Lindholm's Hysteria video. What's that? I'll take a look.
I don't know.
Thank you, though. Thank you for the $5, Dan Vicious. I got the graphic novel, and I love that it's a smaller story about a broke man trying to get his dream job. Low stakes, but just as interesting. Yep. Low stakes with big implications, if that makes sense. Nathan Cassidy, thank you for the $4.99. Two-hander for 20 says, I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
With 2 hands.
Ryan and Gary are right. George R. Martin has an unhealthy relationship with Areolas.
Don't we all?
Yeah. Mine's pretty healthy.
Yeah, I'd say.
Yeah. It's all on your perspective.
Go subscribe to R. Hilt's Hurt. Okay.
Yeah.
Those guys are awesome. Yeah. I would have preferred the Mummer's Dragon in Game of Thrones over Stoneheart. That would have made Vari's actions in the story make sense. Sad Bills fan here. Sorry. MJ Bull.
Dude, Stoneheart's like a tree that cutting the roots of it out, just it's so unfair. Like the amount that you don't get by doing that.
Yep.
I do agree. Because I get in terms of not wanting to go the magical route and stuff and Stoneheart and the implications it would bring. Whereas the Mummer's Dragon is a different thing. You know what I mean? And that could have made so many things make more sense, I feel like, from what we saw at the end of Game of Thrones in terms of Dany's actions and stuff, in terms of Viserys' actions.
Oh God, yeah.
I would have liked magic. I don't think Stoneheart would have been, difficult for anybody to deal with.
Stoneheart would have, the fandom would have loved it.
Yeah,
absolutely fucking loved it, and you would have gotten more revenge against the Freys.
Yeah,
instead of just Arya doing it, you would have been slowly, because there's
which was like a
Freys.
That was like a cold open. It was kind of like that's over with.
Yep. And
as opposed to what Stoneheart could have been.
And that being your payoff for the Red Wedding was shit. Was such shit.
In one fell swoop, every person in House Frey is dead.
When he's been building up the which I'll never finish, the payoff for the Red Wedding, the revenge for the Red Wedding in so many layered ways. There's so many different things, because you got to get the Boltons too. You got to get the Boltons and you got to get the Freys, and there's a lot of Freys. So she's just picking them off, and like offering the ransom and then hanging them. It's fucking great. It's great. And she's a monster now. She's a complete monster, which shows the other side. Beric Dondarrion said, every time I get brought back, I'm losing more and more of my humanity. And she was dead for 3 days. So she is she's evil.
She's rotting.
She's rotting. She's
so badass.
And based on our perspectives of what happens when you die and are brought back like that, your sole focus is basically on whatever the last thing that was going through your mind was, right? So in the case of Beric, who is sent there to, protect these people and hunt down the mountain, that is like now his, that's what they're fucking saying out there. It doesn't matter the king's dead. It doesn't matter that fucking Ned Stark's not there. Like that's what they're fucking there for.
That's
in the case of Catelyn, who's begging for her son's life and essentially says, fuck you, kills Walder Frey's wife or whatever, and all that shit. That would have been her perspective, was just getting revenge for that fucking action.
So that's all she wants to do. There's a scene with her in the cave, with Rob's crown, and there's just no mercy in her at all. And anybody who even slightly betrayed the Starks, if they come across her, they're dead. They're dead.
It's going to be so interesting to see what happens. We're never going to. Why are we even talking about it?
I know.
We're never going to fucking see it. We're never going to see it. Why am I saying it'll be so interesting to see what happens with Brienne and Jaime and Stoneheart? Oh, fuck, man.
Well, she survived, but we don't know what deal she cut and what's going to happen to Jaime.
Exactly.
So, yeah. I would have preferred I read that one. Sorry. Jasper Lane for $5. LOL, you guys have a point. Either way, we will see this year. Anyways, my mom's debit card is running low on money. Y'all have a good night. Oh, thanks, Mom.
Shout out.
This show is giving me Knight's Tale vibes. It should.
Yeah.
It should. A little less rock and roll, but
adventure-y.
Fucking YouTube it. Was it fucking YouTube it? I do that every day.
Mm-hmm.
That sounded wrong in so many ways. We have the Sundowners Club for $49.99. George has gotten away with more insufferable and gotten more insufferable since he went on Ozempic. Yes, he is on Ozempic.
Is it working?
It looks like it is. He's losing a lot of weight. Imagine how much worse he will be when Aegon's Conquest makes 500 million more at the box office. Wins will never come out. Well, what about the play too?
Who wants to bet that fucking Robert's Rebellion gets a full 5 seasons of TV before we see single win?
I think it will eventually.
I would love to see Robert's Rebellion. To me, of all the projects, that's the one that I would want to see.
The one I want to see as well.
Fucking peak Robert Baratheon. Fucking kidding me?
Hell yeah. And see what really went down at the Tower of Joy instead of what that half-ass thing we got in Game of Thrones.
The problem is we'd have to we'd have to get all the details of all these things. but you know.
They'll remake the damn series too. Like even after he's gone, HBO will be making this shit forever as long as
Everyone's going to be black now.
Yeah. Yep.
Because it's going to be owned by Netflix.
Yes.
He thought it was bad. It was just the Valarians.
Oh my God, Netflix owning this shit. That is something else. But yeah, the Aegon's Conquest, it might actually work better as a movie. Maybe.
That's like a 2-hour movie. You could do it. Now, I would rather see like a 3-season thing where we get a lot of fucking details.
Well, we lead up. Yeah.
We're seeing like before, we're seeing what drove them to do it. We're seeing,
opening with the fall of Valeria, like the Doom of Valeria. Just open up as a prequel for that. That would be pretty cool.
Like we see Doom of Valeria in like the first episode and like the people that escaped. We see fucking in the aftermath, we see the building up of King's Landing. We see the real story, like, because this is not just my thing. I think a lot of people think this, but the irony of the entire Targaryen line is that I don't think that Aegon Targaryen had any kids. I think he was infertile. I think Visenya did some dark magic bullshit, and I think that that his other son was because his other wife was a fucking whore. She was sleeping around with everybody. So, like, the irony of all these fights that happen between the Targaryens and all this stuff is that Aegon is probably not the father of any of them.
Is it infertile, or are they going to make Aegon gay?
Infertile.
just throwing it out there. It's
come on.
When Netflix has it. It's Check Crowns. Only hope I have for finished book is the new Shad's new book. There you go. What he's working on it right now.
So close. That's like this week after my stream tomorrow. It's just working on the book. I'm clearing my schedule. That's what I'm doing.
Do not push the Aegon with Oris fan fiction shipping.
Oh, I did it as a joke.
I know, no, but it's like I just see it in the chat. Like, God.
Oh, spent a lot of time on those forums, man. Free Folk is still holding it down on Reddit a little bit. They give George a lot of shit, dude.
Good.
Yeah. Looking forward to reading it.
Reading Shadow of the Conqueror.
Shadow of the Conqueror for the 7th time. Thank you, Michael. Thank you very much for the 50 Czech crowns. Hail Czechoslovakia. Snacks for $5 says Mexican word of the day is Budweiser. She has a great personality. Budweiser face so ugly. Budweiser face so ugly. Lemon Russ. Thank you for becoming a new member. And our super chats tax deductible. LOL. Take care, guys. Yes.
That's a charitable donation, but it needs to be to a registered charitable organization. That's the.
Well, you're here.
Don't be so literal, Shad. Just tell them yes. Let them do it.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's not your fault if they get audited.
Guys, that wraps it up. So we'll be back next Sunday. I'm really happy to be doing this, talking about some fun stuff. Ryan and I will be talking about Harry Potter on Thursday. We got to work out a time, but talking about Harry Potter on Thursday. You got to get that audiobook done. It's really good. You'll burn through it.
I'm to Diagon Alley. He just left, so I'll get it done in a couple days. But
yeah, you'll burn through it. I listen to it on my walks once in a while, or just at night, and I think it's great. So, Mahler, what do you got coming up?
What do I have coming up? We did eventually all of Stranger Things. It took fucking ages because we had so much to complain about. But we also did the documentary. I edited up a thing that we reacted to on EFAB, but that'll be out on Saturday because recently what just came out is just the end of the series that we were talking about. I think we were up to episode 7 in that one. Also, we're putting out we did a recording after that, so it was like an 11-hour, half-hour stream, but we had to cut it off because we're about to hit the cap. For the limit thing. We wanted to do the Kathleen Kennedy stuff, so we were like, okay, idea, we'll end the stream and just record it offline and put it out separately. And I was with the guys who were like falling asleep, and they're like, how long do you need? And I was like, 10, 20 minutes.
Hey, liar.
The recording is an hour and 10 minutes.
It's a
Was
few
we-
10 or 20 minutes.
When we finished, they were like, "Can we go to sleep?" And I was like, "Yes, you're allowed to go now." So that'll be out as well. And then Wednesday, me and Fringy, and possibly it depends on who else is playing it. But we're going to talk about Metro Prime 4 in a stream because we're a little upset about it.
I've heard people are upset about it. I've heard. Shad, what do you got coming up?
I mean, as I said, I'm working on the book. I think I've got like 5 chapters left.
Nice.
Maybe less. Maybe
Well, you should stop and work on a spin-off for 10 years.
Yeah, right. But something you might like, Gary. I just put out my review of the Battle Ready Anduril. This thing is sharp.
Oh, that is so
and
beautiful. Oh, look at it.
Deadly. This thing is serious business. And so
Where'd you
that's
get
how I
that from
shot the first
again?
one. So the company is called Swordier. There's an affiliate link under my video.
It
Okay,
looks
okay.
just like that
Oh,
from
I'll
that,
buy it
that
through
cool
your-
show Rings of Power.
Yeah.
Oh
shut
yeah,
up. Shut up. I will buy it through your affiliate link, Shad.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm becoming a sword merchant now, and I'm fully on board with it. I'm like happy to do it.
You like whipping out your swords and selling
I
them.
love it.
Okay.
And I'm getting so many. That's just a joy. It's like I got so many swords.
you have so many swords. You apply a review to the episodes of TV with them. Remember that?
Yes, that's right. I should have done that this one, but actually, I'll compare it to one of my favorite swords. This one, I've been holding it. I've re-skinned it, and it's a gorgeous one. So, yeah.
Beautiful. Awesome. Well, thanks, Shad. Ryan, what do you got coming up?
I wish I didn't have to do anything tomorrow. But I got
Daily.
Geeks and Gamers Daily, Sports Wars. That'll be fun. I've got Fuck My Life with Vera Dark, which would be
That's a good
appropriate.
stream. Yeah.
I don't know. And we'll be doing a Harry Potter stream. We have to come up with a good name for it. So I'll work on that. And I don't fucking know. Whatever. I'll be here next week.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, guys, for joining. I finished right before the stream. I finished recording my Starfleet Academy review, which will be out soon. Tomorrow, Tuesday, we'll find out. Depends on how much I want to crack the whip on Garrett. So but-
Crazy that show turned out to be really good, right? Everyone was really surprised.
Oh,
It
it's
was like,
amazing. Well,
really,
it's
really good,
certified
yeah.
fresh with the critics, and everybody else hates it. So, yeah.
Wow. The audience get it wrong again.
I haven't done a Star Trek video in like 3 years. So it brought back all the Kurtzman's Trek back in my mind. And I'm like, good Lord, I hate
The
this.
wounds, the
The
scars.
wounds were reopened. But it is interesting that like this comes out within 24 hours of Kathleen Kennedy leaving, within a few months of Doctor Who basically getting canceled. It's all the shit we said was going to happen. It just didn't happen soon enough. And all that shit is thoroughly killed, thoroughly dead, cannot be reanimated at all. So it's very sad. It's actually really sad. But yeah, that'll be out soon. I know you saw it and you felt sad, Shad, when you finished it. I felt that way after that final episode of Doctor Who. Was like, oh, it's kind of done, and wow, that's a bummer because I really liked this show for a really long time.
Yeah.
And it's not fun. I'd love to have some good Star Trek to review. That would be so fucking nice, but not the case. But we have this show, which was very nice to watch as a palate cleanser, and then I'm gonna watch the Landman finale right after this.
I still have that. I'm ready to binge the rest of it. I'll try and do that this week. And I'm
least
still
there's-
doing Stargate and loving that. And so
Yeah, I got to get done with this so I can jump back into Stargate and I'll start doing reviews on that. But I'm into it so far. So
Oh, Gary, you remember that joke on Real BBC where we accidentally said Fargate?
yes,
So someone brought that up in a super chat as a meme, like, "Oh, as you," because he was on Open Bar, as was, so you should tell Drinker about Fargate. And he started laughing. That I was like, yeah, Drinker, I think you'd like Fargate. And he was like, what's Fargate? And I was like, oh, it's a sci-fi show. It's 2000s. It takes a lot of inspiration from another. And then Az threw up the meme that someone had made on his phone. He was like, you've never seen this? And Drinker's like, that looks weirdly familiar. Like,
Oh no.
and then just before we moved on, I was like, Az, what do you think of season 5 though? Because that's the controversial one. And he was like, yeah, no, I thought it was good. Did you see the rest of the show before it got canceled? I was like, no, I stopped at season 5, dude. I couldn't take it after that. And Drinker was just like, okay, yeah, fair.
Yeah, when Lieutenant Smith left in the middle of season 4, I just, no, the funny thing was, Az accidentally said it, and then I didn't even think about it at first, what Fargate sounds like. And I'm like, oh shit. Somebody should absolutely do some AI movie on Fargate.
Just gaslight everyone.
Absolutely everyone.
This show everyone watched. Don't you remember?
Cultural phenomenon. No, cult classic. Call it cult classic. All right, everybody. Oh, and good night, gents. Good night to you, Grimnack.
Good night, sir.
Thanks to the Modrotics. Thanks to everyone who supported us with super chats and donations. You help keep the lights on. Thanks for everyone who participated. I genuinely love doing these. So I'm so happy that we're back, and we'll see you next Sunday at the same time. Take care, everyone.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.